Yo, what's good? How y'all doing today? It's me, that guy, the person, guy, person, thing, person, dude, guy, person. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get one thing settled. I'm Roy. How y'all doing? And here comes your wide awake host. Obviously, I mean, clearly, he's so awake. It's kind of a shock. He's mean, he's lean, he's not actually mean, but he isn't green either. That's a weird rhyme, but don't worry about it. Here comes Game Guy! I think. Hello. Sorry about that. Let me shut this. Hey guys. That's the creepiest way you could start this party. I'm sorry. How y'all doing, bro? Y'all? Doesn't that mean you all? I'm only one person. Well, young doesn't make any sense, does it? No, I guess it doesn't. I'm doing well. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode podcast stream thing. It's not really a podcast, but whatever. Of Game Guys Unfiltered Thoughts. Hooray! In this series slash discussion slash I guess review, although it isn't really a review. On this first episode of whatever you want to call it, I am going to have a little talk with you all about something I feel very emotional about, let's just say. Roy knows how I feel about this game in question. I certainly do. That's also why I'm here. I'm just kind of, I'll probably, also talk too, so we're going to be doing this together. Me and him. Yep. So, let's talk. First things first. Let's get one thing. Opinions are just that. They're opinions. You might disagree with me. You might agree with me. Things happen. But, remember that opinions are the most objective thing in the world. So, if you agree with my opinions, great. If you don't, that's also great. I mean, I can't force you either way. So, But anyway, today we are going to talk about Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. So, let's start right away. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? First things first, and this is going to be my patented hot takes. This game isn't as good as people think it is. Oh, wow, okay. We're already starting, huh? Yes, we are. Let me explain. So, I think to really, explain myself, I need to start from the beginning. So, first things first, this isn't the first Paper Mario game I played. It wasn't 64 either. It wasn't even Super. It was Sticker Star. So, I got it. So, pretty much what happened was a friend of my mom's got me Sticker Star for my birthday, and it was the first Paper Mario game I ever played. I didn't have the context of the first three, and I fell in love with it to my dismay. I will fully admit, back then I wasn't, as, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as familiar. I don't know. I wasn't as much of a gamer back then. I was pretty casual, and I wasn't really. Mario was pretty much always what I played, even back then. And Sticker Star was the first Paper Mario game I ever played, and I remember thinking, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, okay, this is an exciting new game. I didn't know back then that it was kind of bad because I was just a kid, and I didn't have the context of the first three, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. A few years later, I think it might have been like 2, maybe 3. I got Super Paper Mario for Christmas, and I put it in, and immediately I'm like, wow, this is a really good game, and rose tinted glasses and all that, but it is my favorite. That's my favorite Paper Mario game. If you're wondering what my favorite is, it's Super. Is it bias? Yes. Not even like any hesitation. You just, yes. It's 100% nostalgia. Like, nowadays, I can see why it's bad. Like, Super is not the best game out there. Like, it has some issues, but it is better than Sticker Star, so there's that. But yeah, so if I remember correctly, this was the timeline, I guess you could say, of my Paper Mario games. So it went like this. I played Sticker Star first. Second was Super. I'm pretty sure third was 64. I skipped Thousand Year Door. It was Color Splash next, and then I played Thousand Year Door. So I played it last, which is definitely an interesting way to put it, because it's like, I don't remember why it was last. And like obviously I heard of the game, and obviously I knew that the Wii could do backwards compatibility because I had GameCube games on my Wii. Well, I had a few of them anyway, but point is, it was last. And let me tell you something. And I'm not like, I've heard it from everyone that Thousand Year Door was the greatest Paper Mario game in the series, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's so amazing, and like everyone loved it, and there was this beloved RPG in the Mario franchise. It was, everyone hyped it up, and it was this situation where I was expecting this game to be amazing because I heard it was. And then I played it. I didn't have the same experience. And let me tell you why. So, the thing with me is that I grew up on Super and Sticker Star, but I mostly grew up on Super because it was better. And because Super Paper Mario was this, let's be honest with each other, frankly bizarre game, and just this completely insane and weird and strange game that makes absolutely no sense at all. I was expecting Thousand Year Door to be similar because it was the prequel to Super, right? I was expecting it to be weird and strange and odd and just this bizarre story that makes no sense at all. I didn't get that. Wow, I didn't realize. I don't think I was there. I was like, I think you were. I don't remember what happened. You were still in college, I think. But yeah, that was the context behind my first time playing. I had heard about this game on the internet. I heard all about the reviews. All of them said pretty much the same thing about the game. Or to me, it felt like that. I mean, obviously some of them are different, but like most of them felt the same to me. Because back then I was a kid, I didn't really know what a review was, and it just felt like they were repeating themselves. But I mean, obviously, like, and hearing all those, everyone say the same thing, and everyone like being like, "Oh, this game is amazing." Obviously, I'm like, okay, well, clearly this game is amazing, and I have to check it out. And yeah, hey, Carla. Yo, Carla, what's up? How you doing today? This is just a. If you're wondering what's going on, I'm talking about my feelings on a certain game that I have feelings about. But Android's here for moral support. Hooray! That's my favorite support. Who could ever forget, honestly? Anyway, so that was the context behind it. And I first played it, and I was like, eh. And honestly, like, it's not that I don't think the game is bad, obviously. I think it's a good game. Maybe not great, but like, I thought it was good back when I first played it. And then the remake came out, and I got that, and I got a lot more of an appreciation because of the remake. But the original game, I'm just like, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. But I guess we could talk about the actual game now, huh? So let's talk about the story. Because everyone's like, because I've heard all about how people love the story of the game. My question is, what story? You know what I mean? Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people say the X-Nauts were an interesting villain. And they got an interesting design. I like Groditz. He's cool. The X-Nauts themselves are interesting. I like Lord Crump. Like, these are cool ideas, but the question is, what is their motivation? Right? You play the game, and the first time you see Lord Crump, he's like, oh, I'm gonna attack Goombella because she knows about the crystal stars, and I want that, and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, well, why do you want the crystal stars? Maybe it will be explained later. And it is, but like, what it leads up to is it's like, I don't like what it leads up to, is the thing. They explain, hey, the X-Nauts want the crystal stars to awaken this demon, because why not? And it's never explained why, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's, okay, the concept is cool, right? Because it's like, okay, so these stars, crystal stars, are these powerful artifacts that can pretty much be like, hey, this can do this and that can do that, and it could open this door, Thousand-Year Door. He said it, but anyway, so they open the door, the Thousand-Year Door, you go in, and you see the demon for the first time, and you're like, whoa, that's insane, but why? You know what I mean? It's never explained in the main story. I think it might be explained if you talk to, like, there's like an NPC you can talk to, and it'll give you like some backstory about the game, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but I would have preferred it if it was in the actual game itself, if that makes sense, because it's like, it's cool, the concept is awesome, I love the idea of these things you're searching for having not exactly the best reason. Like, they don't really do the best thing. Like, in 64, you got the Star Spirits, right? And you collect them, and they protect the Star Rod. And if they're not there, they can't protect it. So Bowser shows up, captures the Star Spirits, gets the Star Rod, leaves, beats up Mario, and the story is you gotta get them back so you can use the Star Rod and get it back, or whatever. And okay, well, that's not, like, too crazy, but the Star Spirits obviously have a purpose. And there's a reason behind why they protect the Star Rod, and it's, like, it's explained in the beginning, which you can skip, but it's also explained in game, too. Like, it's never like, okay, like the Star Spirits will talk about it if you skip the intro cutscene, so you don't get confused. Super Paper Mario did something similar where it's like, hey, the pure hearts, you need them to counteract the whatchamacallit, the Chaos Heart. You alright? Yeah, I just threw up a little in my mouth, so I don't know what happened there. My body was like, I don't know about this, but anyway, I'm alright. Don't worry about me. Anyway, so again, for Super Paper Mario, like, that's explained too. It's like, hey, each dimension has its own pure heart that's protected by someone. Get them, defeat the Dark Protoxicus, beat up Count Black, and then beat up Super Dimensional, which is still the greatest twist villain ever conceived, obviously. Maybe not, but okay, maybe not, but you know, whatever. They could defeat the Chaos Heart, they could turn it back to the Purity Heart, they could do all these amazing things, you're good to go, and, you know, it's explained. It's explained in the story. Thousand Year Door doesn't do that. So what I thought was going to happen was Professor Franklin was going to tell you what they did throughout the story. And the X-Dots, which they do. The crystal stars are the keys to opening the door, like I said, and they're the keys to awakening the demon. But it's never explained why or how. The thing with the pure hearts is that it is explained how. It's like, okay, they're 8 bits of the heart, they go together and they make the purity heart. Even the Star Spirits were kind of explained why they're the protectors. It's like, okay, these are the strongest Star Spirits, so if they're the strongest, that would make sense for them to be the guards. But they couldn't protect themselves against Bowser because he had the Star Rod. And it is explained. It's not explained as well, but it is still explained. Thousand Year Door doesn't explain it. Like, it's never told. Like, I don't think it's ever actually said why they have this, like, seal. And they're both the reason it's sealed and the reason it's broken. It's like, you can't have both. You know what I mean? If the pure hearts, right? Let's compare the crystal stars to the pure hearts for a second, okay? Let's have this question real quick. If the pure hearts, right, were the reason why Count Black got the Chaos Heart, then collecting them wouldn't make sense, right? they were the reason he got it, then collecting them would just be bad. Or it would be, unclear if it was actually good or actually bad. Like, it's never actually explained. And it's like, and it's shown why it wouldn't make sense, why it wouldn't make sense the other way around. And in 64, it's kind of that way too, in a different way, but again, I'd rather compare it with the Pure Hearts because they make more sense. How could they be the keys to getting rid of this thing and also the keys of unlocking it? Like, that feels like it's two separate things. And then, out of nowhere, the game's like, by the way, they need a Pure Heart. And Peach is there. What? Okay, let me talk about this. This is the next thing I want to talk about. Why is Peach the one they use for the Pure Heart? I get it. Okay? Like, gameplay-wise, I understand. Right? Because it's like, it's a twist. Because you're like, okay, well, it needs a Pure Heart. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, it has to possess someone. Maybe it'll possess, I don't know, Vivian, or maybe it'll possess Grodus, or it'll possess Lord Crump, or something like that. They don't have Pure Hearts, but maybe the demon doesn't care about that, and it'll just possess whoever, because it's a demon. No! No, the game says, no, it's Peach. See, I have a problem with that. And I'm going to compare it with a different game for a second. So, in Bowser's Inside Story, there's the Dark Star, right? And it had the same plot twist. Where it's like, hey, if Peach shows up, right? If Peach is there, she's the one that seals, like, can unseal the Dark Star. Except, it is actually shown better than Dodging Your Door, in my opinion. Because the thing is, at the start of the game, it just says, yeah, Peach has these special, amazing, because of course she does. And it's just like, I don't think it's ever actually explained what it is. But the thing is, I feel like in that game, it doesn't matter nearly as much because that game actually has like a reason behind the story. Because Fopple is like, okay, he hears about the Dark Star. He wants it to conquer the world. He's going to take the princess, and he's going to use her to unlock the seal of the Dark Star. Because he knows, or at least assumes, that she's, the one that can break it. And it's shown in-game that she can. Right? In-game, she actually breaks the seal. It doesn't your door. You don't get. Yeah, yay. Yeah. Okay, the world's gone dark. That's cool. What else can this thing do? Sticker Star showed what its main thing can do. When the enemies get the royal stickers, they're corrupted, they're stronger, they're bigger, they can do more things, and they become crazed. Wow, look at that! That's showing you, hey, you gotta get these things back, or else things are not gonna go well. In Super Paper Mario, the Saber Kingdom gets fucking destroyed by a hole in the sky. I will never forget the first time that happened. Okay, but like, well, put a bookmark in that one. We'll get back to it. In '64, Tootin' Koopa, or like whatever, and basically all the bosses there were made from the Star Rod. You get to see what this super powerful object can do. In Sticker Star, you get to see, hey, this is what happens if the Sticker Star, if these royal stickers don't come off of these things. You gotta get them back. And sure, I guess Color Splash and Origami King don't really do much with theirs. It's just Guardians, but like, well, actually, no, Color Splash actually did that too. Color Splash showed, hey, if you mix up all the paint and it turns black, your body's getting taken over. So it's like you get to see what these things do. You don't get to see what the Crystal Stars do or the Demon King, the Demon Queen, whatever it is. Except for one time, you get to see in Chapter 3 what the Crystal Star can do with Grubba, but it's the only time you get to see it, and it's like, why? That would have been so cool if you got to see what the rest could do. I mean, it's fine if you want to only do it once. I mean, I'm not saying like, okay, only show it once. But I'm like, come on. Wouldn't it have been really cool if Duplets had your special abilities and you had to dodge them or something like that? That would have been awesome. Or maybe Cortez could use the Crystal Star he had, or Grotus or Lord Crump could use the Emerald Star or the Diamond Star that he got. That would have been awesome. But they don't do it, and it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? If you're going to make these powerful objects, I want to see what they can do. And if you're going to make a big bad, I want to see what it can do. Like what the Dark Star did in Bowser's Inside Story, or the Shrooms did in Partners in Time. Remember Toad? You're doing your thing in Partners in Time, right? Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And I think it's after, is it after the Thwomp area? I don't remember. It's around that. It's around that. I don't remember. But you go to Toad Town and you see the entire place has been taken over by the shrooms. Like the shroom mushrooms, and the whole town is in destruction. You get to see how bad this threat actually is. Like what? Like holy, dude, that's cool. I want to see more of that. Like, come on, that's so awesome. What were the other areas like that? That would have been cool. You also got to see it in Yoshi's Island. There was a Yoshi there that was corrupted by the troops called Yube, and he ate everything. You got to see why this was such a problem. Like, what? Like, come on, that's so awesome. In 64, even, you got to see how bad this actually was. Remember Grubba in Chapter 3? Where he ate ghosts? You know, beings that aren't technically alive? He ate booze. You got to see why that's a problem and why you have to get rid of it. And it's like, okay, yeah, that is a problem. We should probably get rid of that thing. And then there's Super Paper Mario. So, we never get to see how bad the Crystal Stars are in Thousand Year Door, right? Like, you see them, and you're like, okay, well, they don't really do anything. And you see the demon, and it doesn't do anything. Super Paper Mario says, Chapter 6, the void is humongous. It's this thing you always see in the background. And then Chapter 6 dies. The whole place literally gets wiped out of existence. We don't get to see what happens with the Crystal Stars in this game. And in Super Paper Mario, which people are usually mixed about, we get to see what actually happens if we don't hurry up. The world gets wiped out. There's nothing left. Well, there's a few things left, but most of it is just dead and gone. Like, what? I just... People say Thousand Year Door is a dark game. And I don't really see why. Like, there are dark elements in it. I mean, Cortez is literally a dead pirate. And in Chapter 4, you get your identity stolen by Dupless. And, I mean, they turn off tech in before Chapter 7. I guess that's kind of dark. But Super Paper Mario just says, no, an entire world just gets destroyed, by the way, so there's that. I can't wait to get to Super Paper Mario, in case you weren't aware. So, yeah. Just comparing Thousand Year Door to Super is like comparing the heat to the cold. There are so many differences, it's jaw-dropping. It's like, look, I get it. If you grew up on Thousand Year Door, I can understand why people like it so much. But, or why you might, or why other people would like it because maybe they grew up on it, or maybe they just liked it the best, opinions and all that. But subjectively, or however you're supposed to say that, I never remember. Subjectively, sorry, that's how you're supposed to say. I don't know what I said before. Suggestively, I don't know. Anyway, subjectively, in my opinion, subjectively, Super Paper Mario is better. And the thing is, I don't hate Thousand Year Door at all. Like I said, it's a good game. I like it a lot. Look, let's talk about the things I do like about the game, because there are a lot. And I don't want this whole video to be stream video. Well, it'll be a video after the stream is done, I guess. But anyway, I don't want this whole stream to be negative feedback on this game, because I do like it. So let's talk about the good things I like. The combat, obviously, and that is the one thing I will agree with. The combat is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty much the same as it was in 64, and I guess you can't really... I guess you can't... It was already pretty perfect already, so I guess you can't really fix perfection. I like the audience idea, though. The audience concept, where they can give you items and stuff like that, I like that. And I do like how they brought that back for Origami King. I think that's funny. But, here's the thing. I don't know how I feel about the stylish moves. I know that's a weird thing to kind of just bring up, but it's something in the combat that I never really knew how to feel about. It feels good to bring the... I don't know why they're there. I guess, to be fair, this is also how I feel about them in Super Paper Mario 2, except in a bigger situation, because at least in this game, like, it increases your star power, which we'll get to. But, yeah, so let's talk about the star power, because I already brought it up and might as well. So, each crystal star has a special ability. They use star power. And the audience will give you star power if you do stylish moves or a correct action command. You can also get it by doing the bingo, which I also think is a fun idea that I kind of wish they brought back in a better way than Sticker Star did. But, yeah. So the possible bingos are the mushroom, which will heal you up, the flower, which will heal your FP, which is, badge, which is how you use badges, which I'm pretty sure, which is, it's a whole other thing. We'll get to it. BP, which increases your, or not BP, your star power, which we just went through. Or you can get the shine, which is all three, or you can get the poison mushroom, which will half everything you have. I kind of wish they didn't have the poison mushroom, but I get that there should be at least one bad thing. At least not make it as bad. Make it a third instead of half. Because I feel like if it was a third, then it would be way less, like, brutal if you get it. But yeah, I do legitimately like the battle thing. And I do like how in the remake, they made unique battle themes for every single chapter. That's what they did in Origami King, and I'm glad they did it again for the remake. Speaking of the remake, let's talk about Chapter 4 real quick. So Chapter 4 has this whole backtrack thing going on, where it's like, hey, you gotta go back and forth, and you gotta do it over and over again. The remake said, no more of that, and put in a pipe that takes you back to the town, which, thank God, I'm so glad they did that. Fast travel is so much better in the remake, too, because there's the whole room with all the pipes where they go everywhere. I'm just glad they brought that into the remake. I also like the little partner wheel they put in. It doesn't really make it faster, but, it's cool. But, excuse me. Bless you. Thanks. Sorry. Summer allergies. So that's pretty much how I feel about the thing. It is in the original, but it is so much better in the remake. I think they do it a lot better in that. But anyway, yeah. So, and also, before you ask, yes, the remake is way better than the original in a million ways. Like, it is so much better. Again, it's kind of why I'll actually like this game. And usually remakes are bad. Yeah, I mean, look at the live action remakes Disney does. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so let's talk about partners. Um, I guess I could just go through them all real quick. They won't take too long. Goombella's cool. I like all the partners designs. Um, her abilities are pretty cool, I guess. I kind of wish Tattle didn't take an entire turn. Koops is cool. I mean, he's no Carbon. If you know, you know. We'll get to it. But put a bookmark in that Carbon comment, by the way. We'll get to that. But anyway, Carbon. Sorry, I've got it on my mind now. Koops is cool. You know, I like how he has a little character arc in the first chapter, but I kind of wish they kept it going for the rest of the game. Like, he's still timid and still, like, he wants to be braver. Like, I kind of wish they, like, built up on it. That might get a little... It, you know, Koops isn't always going to be amazing. Is an amazing choice for, like, battles and stuff, so... You know. Hey there, Kirby. Flurry! Flurry is, yeah. So, I don't know what they were thinking when they made Flurry, but god damn it, it is kind of funny. I know. I saw her and I was like, what in the world is that? Yeah. So Flurry, I like Flurry, but yeah. If you know, you know. Well, moving on. Let's talk about the greatest hero of this generation, the Yoshi Kid, which you named Kovo Jr. during the playthrough. Hell yeah, Kovo Jr. That's our guy. Kovo, okay, so the Yoshi Kid is interesting because he'll have, like, different colors depending on when you hatch him. Like, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like a 2025 time window for both games. And I think they might have decreased it a little bit for the remake. I'm not too sure about that, but I like how you unlock him and then you immediately use his ability, though. I think that's funny. Just, yeah. So he's used for fast travel. I kind of wish you already had it. I kind of like the spin. I liked how you had the spin thing in Paper Mario 64. You can press Z and you'll be spinning around. Like, you'll spin and go faster. I wish they kept that through all the Paper Mario games. 64, but also in TTYD and Sticker Star. I could get why they didn't do it for Super Paper Mario because of the way it's played, but I mean, to be fair, that game also has a run button when you beat the 100 Pit of 100 Trials, which you could do whatever, so, you know. Anyway, so I like the Baby Yoshi. I like his personality, though, of course, we gotta talk about the fact that he was made so much better because Koval voiced him. I know, that was great. We gotta do that more. We gotta have the guys voice more characters, because that was fun. Yeah, That was a legitimately good time. I really like doing that. Especially because like it was me bouncing off of Kovu because I did the Mario's Real Thoughts, which again we'll get to that. But anyway, if memory serves, in chapter 4 is when you get the next partner, Vivian. Yeah, yeah, no, Vivian's the best partner in the game. Um, I mean, Vivian's just really cool. They've got a great design, and I really like what they did with her in the remake. Like, I thought that was a cool touch, honestly. Yeah, wasn't I mean that was definitely a cool choice, because because like it was just awesome. It was just cool to see. Exactly. But it's just got cool abilities. I like how you can hide in the field with her. She's kind of like Bo, but better. Who's next? Who do you unlock next? Oh yeah, it's Bobbery. Bobbery's cool. I mean, he's got a cool backstory. I like how they did that, but honestly, a lot of people are like, a lot of people think Bobbery's backstory is the saddest moment in Paper Mario, and then again, I refer you to Super Paper Mario in its entirety. Just that game has such a depressing story, but damn it, is it a good story? Like, you can't deny Super Paper Mario has an amazing story. I mean, I still like Bobbery's story. Like, obviously, I think it's really cool that they gave this guy such a unique backstory, but like, they didn't need to. But I'm happy they did. Obviously, it's just I would have rathered it. It would have been cooler to have it earlier. I feel like maybe it could have been like, I don't know, chapter 3, maybe 2, and not 5, because I feel like you don't really get enough time to watch him, heal. But anyway, and I can't look at Bobbery the same way after Origami King. Oh my god. If you know, you know. We'll get to Origami King soon enough. But anyway, there's also Miss Mouse. She's kind of cool, I guess. She's not my favorite character, but she's pretty cool, I guess. I just think the partners are pretty cool. Like, obviously, they feel like real people, and I just really like reading their dialogue. I think it's cool the way you unlock them. Like, Koops at first doesn't know if he wants to join you, and then he joins you immediately after. I like how you have to kind of use Flurry's ability first, and then you actually unlock her. I like how you have to do a special secret thing for Miss Mouse. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah. So those are the partners. I think they're cool. Again, I think they're pretty awesome. Let's talk about the bosses. Hooktail kind of rolls, right? You're going through chapter 1. It's your typical Mario. I guess we could talk about the chapters while we're talking about the bosses too. Chapter 1's pretty decent, I guess. I mean, you go into a ruins, you get to fight a golden fuzzy for some reason. I still don't know why, but I guess it's kind of cool. You go into the castle, or the tower, I guess, but, potato. But, you go in the tower, and, and you get the badge, you go to the top, and you fight a dragon like, I know you got to see it. Like, the first thing you get to see is the dragon when you first show up in chapter 1. And I think that's kind of cool. Like, I kind of wish you didn't see it, if that makes sense. It's kind of the opposite of what the Void does. You get to see the Void in every chapter in Super Paper Mario, and it's like a reminder of, hey, you gotta hurry up or else all the worlds are destroyed. This one's an opposite situation where I wish you heard it and you weren't sure what it was and the characters didn't see it. So you're left guessing what it is. So when you get to the top, you're more shocked because it's like, whoa, like, that's a dragon. Like, what? I thought this was a Mario game. I feel like they could have done the reveal a lot better. I feel like they would have been better that way. New people didn't see it coming, and the old people already knew. But that's just me. Anyway, yeah, chapter 1's cool. Chapter 2 is the Boggly Woods. I didn't originally like it, like most people tend not to. I mean, this is actually another time where I agree with people, where it's like, wow, chapter 2 kind of sucks. The remake made chapter 2 so much better. Like, it's impressive how much better it made chapter 2. I like chapter 2. You know, it's a cool idea. I love the way it looks in the remake. I like the way it looks in the remake better than the original, by the way. That's just a personal preference. I just like the remake better anyway. But, I mean, if you like it better, that's cool. I can get why. But, personally, I like it better. But, anyway. So, that's where you meet Flurry. The boss is Lord Crump. I think Lord Crump is pretty cool. You know, and it's an interesting chapter. I like how you get to go inside of the tree. I think that's a cool touch. Although, again, I feel like Actually, no. Super Paper Mario did not do the tree better. It really didn't. If you know, you know. But all I have to say is Dotwood Tree. It's not fun. Anyway, so chapter 3 is the Glitzville. A lot of people like the Glitzville. I don't. So the thing is, I like the idea of there being like a wrestling match between Mario and a bunch of enemies. I just feel like this is a little bit too many, honestly. It feels like a lesser Pit of 100 Trials, which, again, we'll get to that. But, yeah. I do like the fake out, though. I like how the fake out is Hawk Rock. And he's the current champion, and you have to beat him. You actually get to him, and you fight him. And you're like, okay, cool, I got the Crystal Stars. Except, no, you didn't. It was a fake Crystal Star. And the actual boss is Grubba. Although I do like how Jolene helps you during the chapter, and you don't even know until the end of the chapter. I think that's kind of cool. And I like how he uses the Crystal Star to, like, power himself up. I think that's kind of cool. But, other than that, I don't really like chapter 3 too much. It feels like it goes on too long, and, you know, it feels like the stuff that Jolene makes you do doesn't really add up to much. If that makes sense. Because it's like, it would have been cooler if it was more subtle. Like, it's something, like, if you explore the area, you get to see all these things, and you're not too sure who left them and stuff like that. I know, we haven't seen you in a while, Kirby. It's good to see you again, though. But yeah, I don't really like it. I like the area though. I like the idea of a floating wrestling tournament ring thing. But yeah. Chapter 4 I already kind of discussed, but I love chapter 4 in the remake specifically because I like the way it looks and the way it plays. The original sucked. I'll just say that. Uh but I like chapter 4. Let's talk about Dupless. Dupless is kind of awesome because he just kind of shows up. You show up at his tower place. You see him. It's a duplicate ghost from the original 64, which I still think is a really cool idea. Like, I like how they brought that back for pretty much no reason. Uh, you see him, you fight him, you beat him, and you're thinking, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. He turned himself into Mario's shadow, which is kind of cool. And then Mario leaves, and then yeah, you get to play as a shadow for a while. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the game. Like, you don't see it coming. He takes all your stuff, and it's just like, what? It's like it really is a what in the world just happened there kind of moment. Like, you don't see it coming. It comes out of nowhere, and it's a great diversion, and I love it. It's definitely the best. It's definitely the highlight of chapter 4. Also, let's talk about chapter 3 for a second again, because in the remake, you get to fight Prince Mush, which is awesome. Roy fought him. Tell us how it went. It was crazy. It sure was. Like, now we get. I like the Ruby Star also. I like how that's the thing you get. Also, chapter 4 has the curse where he turns people into pigs. There's no reason why, but it's funny. Like, what? Like, that is so unexpected. Like, you're not expecting it. It's something that kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, what in the world just happened? And it's never. I like how it's never explained. Like, honestly, he just says, I was just bored." I like to think it was the crystal star that made him able to do that. That makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, then I guess we can move on to chapter 5 now. Chapter 5 is Keelhaul Key, and I like how you have to like convince Bobbery to join you first. Keelhaul Keel itself is pretty cool. I like it. It's an interesting little chapter. You know, you can. It's on an island. It's pretty cool. You're like deserted. It just so I like how they're going to Keelhaul Key. The boat crashes. They end up on an island, and the island they end up just so happens to be Keelhaul Key. I think that's funny. But anyway, so I like Flavio. Flavio's cool. I like how again, I like Bobby's backstory. I like the Pirate's Grotto, I guess. Cortez is a cool character. I like how you fight him, and after you beat him, you just become friends with him for no reason. It's never even explained why or how. Maybe he's just so happy he gets to see the sea again, I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, uh, chapter 5 is cool. I like chapter 5. Chapter 6 is the train. I like chapter 6. Chapter 6 has the whole mystery going on. You get to meet Pennington, which is always a good thing. I love Pennington. I love how. So something I do like about every chapter is Mario gets called something different. I'm pretty sure in chapter 1 he's called Murphy. In chapter 2 he's called Mario. In chapter 3 he's called the Great Gonzalez. In chapter 4 his name just gets stolen. Chapter 5 he's Captain Stash. And then in chapter 6 he's Luigi. Which I think is funny. Like like Pennington confuses Mario with Luigi. I just think that's really funny. Uh there isn't one for chapter 7 or 8, which is kind of too bad because I kind of wish that they all had a different name for Mario. Exactly. Mario is Luigi. He's Red Luigi's. Anyway, so I like Pennington. He's cool. The train itself is pretty cool. I like how there's passengers in pretty much every area. I love how Mario has its own room. Like, I like that they give him his own room, and I like how it's 6. Like, I don't know why. It's just a cool touch. The mysteries are cool. Green Mario? What about Red Luigi? Exactly. You can barely tell the difference. Anyway, so let's talk about the boss. But first, we gotta talk about Riverside. Riverside's cool. You know, it's a nice faction. I love the sunset background in the one area. We gotta talk about the battle theme for Chapter 6 specifically. Because for some reason, they made it jazzy and it kind of rules. It's kind of amazing. It's only in the remake, but it's still amazing. Anyway, so Riverside's pretty cool. Let's talk about the Smorg. So, in Riverside, in the basement, I think it's the basement. Like, I'm pretty sure they say it's the basement. I don't remember, though. There's this 4-leaf clover that's blue with eyes, and it's called a Smorg. And they're like hoarding around the Switch. Like, they're just like surrounding it by all sides. And you show up, you get rid of them, you hit the Switch, and you get to move on, whatever. The Smorg comes back, and there's like a million of them. You go to the top of the train, and then you fight the thing, and it kind of rules. Like, you're just, like, suddenly you're just in front of this giant horde of, like, amoeba things. And it's like, what are these things? Like, what in the world are you seeing here? Like, what is going on in this game right now? It's kind of awesome. There really isn't another moment in the game like that. And it's kind of amazing. Like, you never forget it. Originally there was originally gonna be like a cutscene about them making them. Also, the 3 shadow sirens, I forgot to mention. Beldum, Vivian, Beldum, and Marilyn. I almost forgot her name for a second. My bad. Anyway, so I like the Smorgs. I also like how the Crystal Star in Chapter 6 is literally just there. You don't fight a boss, you just get it. Chapter 7 sucks. Moving on. Chapter 8. No, I'm kidding. Chapter 7 sucks because of the whole general white hunt you gotta go on. Like, why do you have to go on this stupid hunt for this random white bomb that you've never even met before. But you have. You've probably seen. You saw him back in chapter 1. You probably didn't think much of him. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. White colored bomb. That's kind of awesome, actually. What else? And then you're like, oh, I had to fight this. I had to find this guy, not fight him. You don't have to fight General White, although that would be kind of cool. But anyway, after you find him, you get shot out of a cannon to the Exile Fortress on the moon, which you can breathe on for some reason. It's kind of awesome. Anyway, so I like the Exile Fortress. It's cool. The final Lord Crump fight, I guess, is whatever. I do like the audience cannon, though. I think that's funny. Chapter 8 is inside the door. You go through the Palace of Shadow. It's a cool last area. Again, I already talked about how much I don't really like the final boss of the game. Just like, what can she do? Why isn't she doing more? And like, whatever. They're all interesting chapters. I like them all, I guess. Now, let's talk about one of those things that I had bookmarked, shall we? The Pit of 100 Trials. So, in the Rogueport sewers, there's a pipe that you can go to after you get the paper curse in chapter 1. And yeah, it's really intense. So there's 100 floors. Every 10th floor, there's a reward. They're usually really powerful badges. And at the end, there's Bone Tail, a skeletal dragon that you fight, and it gives you a really bad badge. So, like, where do we start? Bone Tail's cool. I think she's interesting little tidbit. I do like the idea of her being so old that she's just bones now. But let's talk about the remake. So in Keelhaul Key, there's Waka. It was there in the original game too, but in the remake, he's still there. If you hit him, you get the Waka's Bump, which is a really nice item to have. Hit him 8 times, he disappears. But in the remake, you do it, you go back to Rogueport, you're doing whatever, and then you can go back to the Pit of 100 Trials. You go to the end. You have to get an email first, though, so don't think you can do it whenever you want. And you can fight the Waka. Tell us how it went, Roy. I think I died twice to the Waka. The Waka is kind of amazing. Like, they really said, yeah, we're going to take this random NPC that you can hit and get an amazing item out of, and we're going to make him a boss. And we're going to give him the best track in the game because we're just that crazy. But I love the Waka fight. It's definitely the best part of the game. There's also the Trouble Center. You can do a bunch of troubles. There's like, I don't know how many there are, but doing them all, I'm pretty sure it doesn't really do anything. So it's up to you if you want to do it, obviously. So let's talk about real thoughts. So, in the stream I did with Roy and off stream, whenever I play pretty much any Mario game, I'll have Mario say things. Mario never talks. So it's fun to imagine what he would say if he could talk. And I think some of our best moments in the streams were from Mario's Real Thoughts. They exponentially increase my enjoyment of pretty much any game we do, including Thousand Year Door. This isn't just Thousand Year Door specifically. This is something I do always. And yes, I do like llamas. Answering Gravis question. In case you're wondering how the Mario Real Thoughts works, though, it goes a little something like this. First, I gotta get the Mario voice going. Let's go! And next thing you know, I'm walking through. I don't even know what I am. I'm just the daddy and the brother. I like doing what I do. You know, I fight people. I do things, and I jump way higher than a person probably should. On for Princess Peach, the apple of my eye. But I guess not according to Nintendo, because he said, where no? I could do that all day. It really is easily the best part of any of our streams when you get the Mario voice going. I've had people say my Mario impression is creepily accurate, and after hearing it myself, yeah, I could confirm it is very creepily accurate. But it does make the game a lot better. Now, there's one more thing we can talk about, and then I'll probably end the stream. Let's talk about Book of Mario Thousands of Doors and the badges, but we can do the badges first. So badges are something from the original game. They require BP to put on. You can have up to 64 in the original game. I'm pretty sure they made it double that, maybe a little more in the Thousand Year Door, and I think they actually made it more in the remake. But you can put them on, and you can do special abilities. You can attack. You can have stronger attacks. You can have more strength if you're low in HP. You can have better defense. You can have better attack. You can change your partners without using up a turn. You can see the enemy HP. You can do a lot of things with badges. They're pretty useful. But let's talk about Book of Mario because, my God. So Book of Mario Thousands of Doors is a badly Google translated version of Thousand Year Door. And it's really best you see it for yourself because it is a really good time. Mario is never called Mario. Like, almost never. He's always called something different. Bowser is named Browser. So, let's talk about one character, because if I talk about any other characters, I think this stream is gonna get 18 plus. Let's talk about the Yoshi Kid. So the Yoshi Kid has like a sarcastic, sort of like rebellious personality. In this, yeah, he's got quite the dirty mouth. It swears a lot. It's great. It's funny because it's like it's a Mario game that's been Google translated like a million times, and then you see a swear in a Mario. I mean, I guess to be fair, Super Paper Mario also put in a couple swears. Like, 2. And it's not even that bad of a swear, but Luigi says it, which is just like, why? Which is just, I just think it's funny. But anyway, it's such a good time. There's a lot of people that do it, that have played Google translated Thousand Year Door. There's also a Google translated Paper Mario 64 if that's more your speed. And if it's more, and if you want to do Super Paper Mario 2, there's one of that. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Overall, the game is good. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad game. Complicated feelings about this game. I swap back and forth between liking it and loving it. I don't dislike it, but I have a love-like relationship with it. Anyway, hopefully that kind of gets my feelings on the game across, like, understandable way. I'm probably going to end up doing this for a couple other games that I have feelings on or just want to talk about. That was just kind of chilling, though. Maybe next time you'll actually jump in a little more. I can get why, though. I mean, it was a while back, and, you know, yeah, I don't have as much, like, I'm going to use the word affiliation with it. Like, I'm not as familiar with it as you. I don't think that's the word you use. Well, it's the one I did use, so there you go. Fair enough. Anyway. A lot less to say about it than I thought it did. Next time, we'll probably actually be playing something next time. Maybe we'll do another Unfiltered Thoughts. I'm not too sure. Alright. Anyway. Hope you all enjoyed. I kind of had a good time. I also had a good time, actually. We will see you guys next time when we do whatever it is we do next time. So we'll see you all then. See ya. See you guys then. I mean, yeah, we'll see you, Kirby. Hey, goodbye.